when I'm not drawing, I'm drawing. I mean, you think that's a joke, but I actually am. When I'm outside of, when I'm not animating, I am practicing drawing whatever I can. My name is Michaela. I am a 5th-year animation student, graduating this year, and I have been freelance art commission-based working for about 9.5-ish years. I study animal design and environmental design. So I like to study background arts of different areas around the world, like cities, deserts, jungles, and stuff. But then I like incorporating the animals that live in that area. So if I'm drawing a forest, I really like to, I don't like to draw just a forest. I like to draw the deer in the forest. And then what do? I draw the deer as a character, and I draw the turnarounds of the deer. And next thing you know, I'm animating the deer. So like, for the longest time, like when I was really little, I would make little books with these little box characters. They're like dogs and cats and little mice and stuff. And I would make little stories. I would make them up. I have an entire binder that's filled with just like 1-page paragraphs of just different stories. As that grew, I wanted to see them move around. I love books, I love illustrations, but I wanted to see them move. I started with selling my work online overseas. People wanted to buy my work from Australia. I've sold art in the UK. And then, of course, in America, too. Like, I would have people from, like, California that are like, hey, can I buy a piece off of you? I started out with paper and pencil work. So nothing digital yet for, like, the first 3-4 years. I didn't do anything digital. I started with just paper and pencil. I packaged it myself, shipped it in the mail, bought stamps, everything. I would even laminate stuff, make it look nice. Once I got into college, I started making digital art on my tablet. This is when my whole like animation art platform like changed my life. This completely changed my life. I would study people, how their anatomy works. I would take classes on it. I took 4 semesters of like just how to draw a person's anatomy correctly, how to make the head the right size and the shoulders the right width. I went to the zoo a lot. I went to draw the animals at the zoo. This helped me drawing from life, you know? I wasn't just staring at a screen being like, oh, this is a cat. I would be going to the zoo, seeing a tiger in real life and drawing the tiger from how I see it. This changed everything. I could draw realistically, but then after I learned how to draw realistically, I turned that into a cartoon. After I evolved that more, then I learned how to do animation properly. I don't think 2D animation, in a sense, is a dying art style, but traditional 2D on pencil and paper, that's a dying art style. So the original Disney movies, Aladdin, The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, those were all done on paper. And then they moved it into digital. But that original style is no longer as active as we see it today. We do have traditional 2D animation. It is not as present in the movies today. Full-featured animation films, those are rare. What is very common, though, are 2D TV shows. Those are like Gravity Falls, Amphibia, Steven Universe. Not all of them are like hand-drawn frame by frame by frame. Some of them are a little different, but you still have that 2D aspect. You still have those drawings that you can see in the film. The movies that we see today that are 3D animated, they're just as talented, just as amazing, but we don't see that 2D element anymore. That feeling of squash and stretch, the flatness but 3D element coming from a drawing, it's that optical illusion of like, oh, this is a real thing. When you watch Princess and the Frog, you can see the frog squish and stretch. You get that feeling that like, okay, like you can almost touch them on screen. So the summer of 2020, I worked on this really big film festival, a 60-hour film festival, where we had to come up with an idea and incorporate 3 things from a list into this film idea, and we had 60 hours to make this entire film, all by ourselves. It was insane, but it was so fun. I think I stayed up all night for like 2 nights in a row, and I drank so much coffee, and I slept on a beanbag. I was gonna make a really trippy animated music video. It has melting liquid, animals, spikes, fire, and all this other crazy material. But the thing that I thought that made it so genius was that I didn't color any of it. It was a solely black screen with like chalk lines on it that were colored. I didn't have to color, I didn't have to line it. It was all really sketchy, but it came across perfectly the way I wanted it to. And I felt like I got a lot of really good experience of like what it's like to stay up really late working hard on a project like that. And I think that's going to prepare me for the future like a lot. So the next part, I'll do it like this.
Yeah.
He just walks across the whole floor. I love him, but only when he's in the tank. You know, this is Sebastian. Sebastian. So, yeah. Isn't he great? Isn't he just wonderful? Don't get a turtle. Please, for the love of God, don't ever buy a turtle.